Okay, welcome. Today I want to talk about momentum accelerators. What could speed up your recovery? Let's talk about it. I think it. I think it is or was Tony Robbins who I I learned this from. He said, number one, the modeling strategy. His famous quote is, "Success leaves clues." Who is already living the recovery that you want? And then you got to ask yourself, of the people you kind of admire or respect or have an affinity towards, ask them, what are your daily rituals? Find out what their beliefs are about themselves and ask them, what are their standards? Not their goals, but their standards. And Tony Robbins goes on to say, you can model their strategy. You can basically copy what they're doing. That's the what. And then when you hear their story, their recovery story, that's the why. And then also model or copy their state, like how they are, how they're being, what is their psychology and their physiology. Because you don't have to reinvent the wheel, okay? Find somebody who's working maybe the 12 steps or is in recovery or is doing CBT therapy. There's all kinds of other, modalities and methods for addiction recovery, for compulsive behavior. You can deal with that. And if you find someone who's like 10 steps ahead of you, this will, decompress. It'll compress decades into days by modeling what works, by copying what works. And then Tony Robbins goes on to say the 2 mm movements, the 2 mm rule. And he goes on to say, what kills momentum? Trying to change everything all at once. Your nervous system just can't handle it. Instead, ask yourself, what's the smallest change that would make the biggest difference? Maybe it's not overhauling your whole morning. It's just making your bed. Maybe it's not working out for 90 minutes. It's just doing 10 minutes consistently. Stack small little wins because they compound, they grow. And this is how you build unstoppable momentum in your recovery. Number 3, the proximity upgrade. I don't know if I said this before. I think I said it before, but it bears repeating. Was it Tony Robbins or Jim Rohn or who else? Stephen Covey. Maybe it was Stephen Covey. I forget who said it, but the quote is, "You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with." Have you heard that before? You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So kind of look around you and the people you hang out with, the people you spend time with who is stretching you, who is challenging you, who believes in the new you more than the old you. If you can't find them in person, find cool people, find them online, join communities, maybe hire a coach, listen to the content that reinforces your new identity. You know, there's tons of stuff on YouTube. There's another website called Vimeo that has a lot of great videos. And, you know, find out who made these videos and reach out to them, you know, because proximity is power. Your environment is stronger than your willpower. So that's one thing to think about. I'm going to kind of carry on here. The number 4 thing on my little outline, I'm reading off my iPad here. Number 4 is the standard shift. It says, stop setting goals. Start raising your standards. There's a difference. Because goals are something you hope for. Standards are something you demand of yourself. Because your old identity, your old addiction, they would say things like, my goal is to work out 3 times this week. Your new identity, your recovery identity, would say something like, I am someone who takes care of their body. That's just who I am. Do you see the difference? One is negotiable. The other one is identity. That's definitely something that challenges me. I get to work on that, my identity. I mean, that's like a lifelong question. Who am I? For me, at least. I don't know who the heck I am. Number 5, let's kind of get through this. The celebration ritual. Your brain needs to win. Your brain needs wins to stay engaged. Most people are so focused on what's not working that they starve themselves of the reinforcement that drives behavior. And what drives behavior? Wins. Winning, baby, winning. I think it was Charlie Sheen. Winning. Every day, acknowledge 3 wins. And they can be tiny little things, you know, like I chose water over soda. Or I had that hard conversation. Or I showed up when I didn't feel like it. I still showed up. Those are little wins. And celebrate them. Feel them. Let your nervous system encode this new identity wins. Winning. I love it. No wonder Charlie Sheen said that. That's good stuff. That's my heater kicking on. Sorry if it's a little bit loud. But looking at my outline here. The adjustment protocol. Here's your monthly deep dive. On a scale of 1 to 10, what is your energy levels? On a scale of 1 to 10. The next one is alignment. On a scale of 1 to 10, where are you regarding the alignment with your new identity as a person in recovery? Okay, that's something to think about. On a scale of 1 to 10, what is the consistency of your new rituals? You know, are you doing that little 10-minute workout every day, like for 5 days in a row? And then on a scale of 1 to 10, what is the quality of the results? You got to measure that. Anything below a 7, that's where you focus. That's where you ask yourself, what would it take to make this a level 8? Okay, that's a good little tiny bump up from a 7 to an 8. And then what's the one change that would have the biggest impact? Just pick one thing that would have the biggest change, impact on your recovery. Then you implement it, you measure it, and you adjust. And then the ultimate question becomes, here's what I want you to ask yourself every single day. Ask yourself, did I live today as the person I'm committed to being, or am I the person I used to be? Okay? Let me say that again. Did I live today as the person I'm committed to becoming, that I'm committed to being, or am I living today as the person I used to be? Not 100% or not 0%. Maybe you lived 60% as the new you today. That's great. Great, okay? So tomorrow, shoot for 65%. Because remember, recovery is not about perfection. It's about direction. Are you moving towards your new identity, or are you moving away from it? It's really pretty simple. And then here's the real accelerator. Here's what you want to know that'll speed up your recovery more than anything else. Write this down. DECIDE. Decide. Okay? Not hope, not try. Decide. Decide means you cut off every other option. You burn the boats behind you. You make it so the only path forward is through, not going back. The moment you truly decide, and I mean like decide in your bones, the universe conspires to support you, because your decision creates focus, and focus creates results, and results are recovery. So here's my question to you. Based on the last week, based on the last month, okay, what's the one thing that's working that you need to do more of? Okay, I'll say it again. What's the one thing that's working that you need to do more of? And what's the one pattern that keeps showing up that you need to interrupt? Give those two things and write it down, and let's build the specific adjustment that will boost your momentum right now. Okay, what are they? What's the one thing that's working and you need to do more of that? That's question number one. And question number two, that will speed up your recovery. What's the one pattern that keeps showing up that you need to interrupt? Okay? Write that down, and then leave me a comment, leave me a reply, text your questions to the WhatsApp microgroup. The QR codes on the top of the community header there. Or you can call me through WhatsApp, 702-550-9747. That's me. I'm a real person. I'm just like you. I was in recovery. I started from day one, and it just built up. And you will get there, I promise, when you decide. Decide, decide, decide. Not hope, not try. Decide that you want your own recovery.